Hi Aquarius, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for June of 2020. I actually had to take the day off yesterday from doing any readings. This energy is so strong, and I just don't think that it's a surprise that getting back to it this morning after allowing myself to kind of mentally process and heal some of the feelings, I thought it was all too fitting that I was returning to Aquarius because, everything that's going on, Aquariuses are, above all else, the humanitarian energy, the people that, really fight for the underdog. They kind of respect people because of their struggles, and Aquariuses can kind of relate because in a way, all Aquariuses kind of feel misunderstood in a lot of areas of their life. And I think part of the quest for Aquarius is to kind of figure out themselves. Because until you embrace and love yourself, it's very hard to connect to relationships. There's always a feeling like the other person or the people or the friends may not truly embrace and love you and understand you. And that's probably a common theme. But I think that's a lot of what's been working on in June. Now, June is a pretty incredible month. Obviously, by what we're seeing just in society, it's pretty clear that the planets are extremely active. But we do have 6 planets retrograde. Mercury will be retrograde in Cancer in the month of June, and we're still working with Venus, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter all retrograde. Now, the good news is at the end of June, Venus will move direct. But at the same time, she gives another square to Neptune, and then Neptune goes retrograde. So there's really not an easing up. I think one of my most common questions I hear from people is, when is it going to get better? And the real truth of the matter is not for a very, very long time. Now, that's not reflective of our personal energy. In our personal lives, we could be making tremendous breakdowns. In the outside mundane society, we are also making major breakthroughs. It's just that there's a lot more people, and there's a lot more years of karma and pain that we have to cut through than that of our personal lives. The good news is, as we begin to fix the personal stuff, we begin to raise our vibration, and that is actually what heals Earth. That's what heals society. So although we might feel like there's this big fight, this push, right? And we might come in feeling really exhausted or overwhelmed. Looking at society, there's so much more to be done. And you look at all of the people that are kind of somewhat unaffected, and they say, well, why would anybody destroy their own businesses, destroy their own cities? But I asked myself the same thing, and the answer was really clear. I don't remember a time in history where it didn't have to go this far before something really got done. That's a mouthful, right? Just think on that for a second. I don't know if there's ever been a time in which we didn't have to go this low before we were willing to change. When things are hard to understand, I instantly move back to what I know of the universe. And what I know of the universe is that it will always balance out, that things will always be made right. And it is only in our human minds that time is an entrapment. Yes, it's been too many centuries of suffering, but in the timeline of Earth and life itself, in the timeline of spirit, there is no such thing as time. And everything will be correct. These cards for you, Aquarius, are reflecting a lot of that energy, and that is why I say when you allow yourself to experience things deeply, when you give yourself time to reflect on them, you will understand so much more of yourself and so much more of the universe. And things will change. And there is no doubt in my mind that things are going to change. Your energy in the month of June is the Page of Swords. I like this energy a lot. I like when we're coming out. And here's the thing. I think in every single reading, either a page or a king has come out. And that symbolizes either you're opening your mind to new alternatives, communicating and discussing things on a light level, you know, where you could really figure things out, where emotion and worried about being judgment isn't at play, because the Page of Swords is a childlike energy who just says what needs to be said. They don't hesitate, but they also listen. And they look, and their eyes are open with curiosity. And there's a new way of looking at things, you know. The Page of Swords, he's kind of braced to kind of look out everywhere, you know, in search of something. It's in the search of something, but not the need of something, because this is a very light energy. And the Page of Swords next to the Wheel of Fortune tells me that everything is about to change. That all of the sudden there is movement in the right direction. The Wheel of Fortune is a promise. It is a promise that even if things are bad, even if things are dark, even if things are a little hopeless, that the wheel has to come back up. And it will. And it does for you in the month of June. But only if you are not resistant to change. You cannot go into June with the same mindset that you had in May. Things are going to change your mind. You will have opportunities to see things differently. Your astrology card is Chiron, the card of healing. Like I said, Aquarius represents society and the way that we connect to others, and this is all healing, and you are healing. Now, if you are dealing with a medical issue, you know, anything from a disease to a cold to allergies, anything, this is a time in which you may seek out alternative healing methods. You may receive good news that situation has improved. Maybe there's, you know, a form of remission within a disease. It feels like a break or a breakthrough or an ease of pressure. It's certainly good news. Now, Chiron can also represent an area where we're healing emotionally. If you are struggling with addictions of any sort, now is a time where there is hope. There is hope for you to understand, to get help. And I say that as well, you know, by all means, if you are in a situation in June when things are bad, when, you know, because this is kind of like a dark night of the soul, but you're coming out of it in June, and I don't really see you being in it so much in June, you know. It's kind of like right at the very beginning, and you know, we do have eclipses coming, so this could be something that hits at the beginning of the month, and by the end of the month is resolved. Things have changed. Circumstances have changed for the better. But here's why I bring up the addiction, or, you know, if you're needing to seek therapy, now would be a beneficial time. Because when the Six of Pentacles and the Hanged Man and the Hermit come out, it tells me that Aquarius is feeling alone. And they're probably struggling to ask for help, to ask for assistance. If this is a relationship, it desperately needs some balancing. If there are issues within the way that there's, you know, give and take, if one partner is doing all of the work and the other partner is kind of mentally checked out, there needs to be a balancing. Six of Pentacles is a card of charity. It is a card of giving and receiving equally. And it is about our money. It is about our foundation and our stability. And oftentimes when I see this card, it's sort of like, how much of ourselves are we willing to give? Are we giving ourselves away to someone who is not even sure they want to invest in us? The Hermit card and the Hanged Man. The Hermit card just tells me that either someone has withdrawn from you, you know, in any sort of way. This could be anything from somebody ghosting you to, you know, a partner that's just been a little emotionally distant. If you find yourself in the beginning of June slipping deep into a form of depression, not wanting to leave the house, and the energy, watching the news, of course this can happen. This can happen for sure. And the Aquarius is, you know, my humanitarian who would take these things to heart. And right now you may need to sort of turn off the outside world for a little bit. Because I think when you do, whatever power struggle this is within other relationships or within yourself, whenever you do take a minute to step away, the answers will come. Because you're growing. There's so much growth here with the Wheel of Fortune. Chiron means healing. It means having reached a level of success. The Hanged Man means that there needs to be a pause in relationships, and maybe you need to take a time out. You know, when I said that about addictions, you know, maybe this is a time when you do need to ask for help. You do need to go away, maybe to a detox or a rehab center, and allow those people to help you, because there's tremendous growth here. And really, you could achieve so much if you're just willing to take the first step. Now, the second row of cards, the Lovers, the Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. Again, that imbalance. You cannot approach a Nine of Pentacles with a Knight of Wands. The thing about the Nine of Pentacles, if this is you or another person, the thing about it is they really like being on their own. They don't necessarily need other people to like constantly stroke their ego or make them feel as if they're safe. You know, if they choose to be with you, and of course this could be you as well, if you choose to be with someone, to spend time with someone, to invest in someone, it is simply because you enjoy them. There is never a sense of need or obligation with the Nine of Pentacles. And the Knight of Wands can sometimes be this person that comes in and tries to take advantage, tries to feed off the energy of someone. And this is somebody who searches out empathic people. And Aquarius can be very empathic, much like a Cancer. But it's hard to take hold. It's hard to take hold because you just don't need anybody. And so when people start to act a little bit out of character, out of whack, it's easy for you to emotionally detach. And I say that because the Knight of Wands is coming right in between this Seven of Swords and the Hangman. I don't like it. I don't like him. I don't like this Knight of Wands card. You know, the Seven of Swords is deception. And so maybe this person is operating out of a place of a little bit of self-deception. Maybe they're sabotaging themselves. Maybe they're sabotaging your relationship with them. This is kind of like that in and out energy. And I don't know, Aquarius. I think in some levels it's bothering you now. And I think it's just started to. See, the Lovers represents a choice. It represents a choice. And the Knight of Wands is just not something that someone in a Nine of Pentacles would pay attention to. You know, it could be one of those, and it makes a lot of sense, Venus square Neptune, right? Your fifth house. And your second, your house of self-worth and self-value. If you've been in a situation where it may have been some sort of one person really loves and wants somebody and the other person just doesn't feel the same, like that unrequited love. And I think that's where things start to change for you, because you begin to really start to recognize your self-worth. Neptune moving into the 20-degree mark in your second house. This is the Deacon of Scorpio. And Scorpios won't be taken advantage of. They won't stay in situations like this. And no one will ever take advantage of a Scorpio. And certainly not on an emotional or energetic level. And I see you beginning to protect yourself, to see yourself as an investment, and to make a stand for it. Because ultimately, what happens, the card of Leo, is we have victory. You know, we gain victory here, and this is it. This is how we start to even things out, is that we stop being in relationships that don't have this Six of Pentacles quality, where it doesn't give and take equally, that both people are quite simply valued the same way. You know, if you find yourself in these relationships where people kind of put you down or make you feel like you're not good enough, I think Aquarius wakes up this month and they see that that was a lie the entire time. That they have a lot of things going for them and they are worth it, and that if they want something differently, all they have to do is ask. If you are ending a relationship and walking away, it is ultimately for your best. Queen of Pentacles. Right now is a time to focus on yourself and to focus on your money. Focus on your value, what brings value into your life. And you start to really have to question that theme with everything that you're doing. And, you know, pay attention to time as well. The Hermit card, it's a card of Virgo, but it's also, you know, it reminds me of Saturn. That there's wisdom and that you could see from the things that you've learned from the past. And you could also see from things that you're learning right now, that Hanged Man, that current enlightenment. And this is an opportunity to bring both of those things together, the past and the future. And to move in a way that serves you. The Hermit can represent some alone time, yes. There may be a period of time, and that's why I bring up that level of isolation. I mean, maybe you do get sick. Maybe there is something that happens. Maybe you break an arm, and I'm not to say this is for everybody, but it's just an example that maybe the universe is going to cause something to happen in which you do have to sort of reach a period of isolation, but it is that isolation that is ultimately so beneficial. Because when you move from a 9 of Pentacles to a Queen of Pentacles, there is mastery. And the Queen of Pentacles knows her worth, and she does not give herself away to just anyone. That this Knight of Wands in and out energy of somebody that wants to take but not invest in you is simply not suitable. And he can't even touch her. He can't even reach her. The animal spirit cards that you pulled for June is the Black Egg. So again, much like the Hermit card, this is the energy that you come into the month of June in. And the Black Egg talks about truth, having to see things for what they are, and then having to say the things you need to say. You know, this may be the moment in the beginning of June where you say, hey, babe, things aren't right here. I don't feel good about things. You know, or when you tell somebody that you need help, that you need assistance, you may have to borrow money. But there's a lot that happens just within that experience. And the Black Egg may be really hard at first. But once it happens, the Wheel of Fortune turns to that of the Peacock. And the Peacock is one of my favorite cards in these decks. Now, Aquarius, it is an air sign much like you, but this is a person that really steps into their own skin, their own beauty. This is where we fall in love with ourselves. We see our value for the first time. And once we do that, we know that everything else has to change. It has to fit the new version of you, the version of you that you're willing to believe in and invest in yourself first. Now, the the peacock entails kind of this inner beauty. And the hangman and the hermit too, it's this energy of really coming into your own, experiencing some pretty hard things that really make you kind of relinquish your ego. The Six of Wands next to the Seven of Swords, learning the difference between how your ego serves you and how your ego protects you. And really mastering that component and allowing your inner beauty to shine. It is really in the areas in which you are vulnerable this month that you make your greatest strides. The more you sit in the self, the more you will begin to feel an energy that you have never experienced before. It comes up from behind rather than in front, where you experience your mind and emotions. Yeah, this is a change. It's sort of in you. It's sort of destined. It's the universe getting you to this point of no return. But I like how they say it comes from behind, because I feel like you have so much support. Support from people that really do love you, support from people that do belong in your life, and maybe even support from the other side, support from ancestors and guides and your own personal version of God or a higher being that is there talking to you and telling you that you know the answers, that you have the tools that you need to change these experiences for the better. I did pull some love cards because Venus is retrograde and Mercury is going retrograde, and people and things from the past will absolutely come into play. You may not physically talk to these people, but at some point memories will kind of come in. And the thing is, the retrograde energy, we are able to sort of reframe these stories and rewrite these stories. If we have felt like a victim for lifetimes regarding relationships or jobs or an area of our life, now we get to rewrite that story. Now that cycle of karma has ended, and what kind of cycle do you want to start? Now's your chance to get all of the things that you truly want. Now is the time to make the changes, and you are supported by the universe. And you got the World card, the Seven of Cups, and the King of Wands. Yeah, there's an ending. There's a walking away. Now, it could just be a walking away from a cycle within this relationship. You know, maybe you've been together for a long time and you finally reach a level of vulnerability where you could say what's going on to somebody. And in doing that, it changes the entire dynamic of the relationship. It deepens it. It strengthens it. You find new value. And the King of Wands is much different than a Knight of Wands. The King of Wands will protect you. The King of Wands will nurture you and love you and take care of you. The King of Wands operates from a heart space. So maybe the other person grows from this as well. Or somebody new comes in and this person meets you at the correct vibration. That this King of Wands is the only suitor that is fit for a Queen of Pentacles. Somebody who knows what she brings to the table, and the King of Wands sees it, is attracted by it, and he gets it. The King of Wands does not get it and then leave it. He stays. He knows that what he wants to invest in is for a lifetime. And your life changes because of it. So don't sell yourself short and don't settle in relationships. Say the things, Page of Swords, say the things that need to be said. Say what you're feeling, what you're doing, what you're going through. Ask for help because you will receive it. And the people that don't care in your life will simply fall away. And there's very little that you have to do except allow. Allow yourself to follow that path of least resistance because it's taking you to the path of success. All right, Aquarius, that was a tremendous reading for June, and I'm super excited to see what July is going to bring to you. I'll be back weekly from here on in. I'm going to be doing some pick-a-cards for the eclipses that we have coming up. We have 3 eclipses coming up. So in the meantime, kind of keep yourself strong and really honor your energy, Aquarius, and know that the world needs you now. And it's time for you to really believe in yourself so that you could do the things that you're destined to be here to do. Much love, Aquarius. I'll see you in July. Bye.